Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Action Indoor Sports Toombul, where the final series for the 2019 National Indoor Cricket League continue. I'm Cameron Walter and with me is Gary Lowe. Gary, good evening to you.
Good evening, Cameron, and good evening to all the viewers at home, wherever you are, right around the world.
And what we have this evening for you is the top of the table clash in the women's division here at the final series. It's the Springwood Scorpions, the champions from the South East Queensland Women's Division, up against the Hoppers Crossing Hurricanes from the Victoria West Women's Division. Both have played one game so far in the final series, and they both won. So the only two teams without a loss, without a loss in the final series so far. So a big game early in the series for both these sides. Of course, it is the champion side, Gary, from each zone right around the country. As I mentioned, Hoppers Crossing from Victoria West and Springwood from South East Queensland. They're vying for the title of National Indoor Cricket League champions and for a share of $46,000 in prize money, if you don't mind.
I don't mind 46,000 Gsels. That'd look pretty good in my bank account, but unfortunately I don't have anywhere near the amount of dexterity as some of these athletes out here, and this is going to be a brilliant game. We saw earlier on, if you were part of the broadcast, the Hoppers team get just across the line earlier on by it's a single run, I think, in the end, was it not?
It was indeed.
And then we've got the Springwood side, coached by Bruce Arold, who's an absolute genius and master on all things indoor cricket. So they've been pretty well drilled and trained, this Scorpions outfit, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds, as he seems like he's having a very nice chat there to umpire Wayne Thomas.
Well, game hasn't even started yet.
And he's already ripping into it.
Yeah, what's going on there?
At least wait for a delivery before you start getting into the neck of the poor old umpy.
You see on the screen there the captain of Hoppers Crossing Hurricanes, Bryony Polkinghorn, rallying her troops. They are fielding first in this top of the table clash, and Springwood batting first. You've watched a lot of the league across the zones throughout the year so far, Lowy. And you think the women's division have been pretty high scoring, so 100 plus, 120, things like that. You think this game will be the same, or being top of the table, the bowling and fielding standard might bring that down a little bit?
Well, look, the Hoppers side kind of proved me a little bit wrong as tournament director David Shepley comes over to hand us the team sheets. They only scored 88 odd runs last time, and I thought they were good for at least a 120 plus, but it wasn't the way. You're quite right in what you say, though. These two teams, are very, very talented, so it is going to bring in those runs a little bit. I still think that 100 plus is certainly on the cards for both of them, and particularly the Springwood side, they'll chase down 100, 110. So triple digits, I think, is the direction for today.
Alex Weeks and Olivia Voss opening the batting, Liz Pearce the bowling, and we're underway. Just sneak a single backward of square. You want to rocket through at least one of the teams now for us, Lowy?
I will. I'll quickly go through the Scorpions outfit. Alexandra Weeks, Shelley Savage, Charlotte Voss, Olivia Voss, Monique Brummer, Kat Jenkins, Blaine Gibbs and Stacey Rockcliffe.
Tucked around the corner there, this time on square leg for two. Yeah, good lineup here for Springwood. Measured start so far, and hit a little bit more firmly through for two. And how about their opponents, Lowy, the Hoppers Hurricanes?
The Hoppers Hurricanes, led by Bryony Polkinghorn, Tamsin Wright, Sue Rose, Claire Haynes, Nellie Hayhurst, Alana Misson, Hayley Landy and Liz Pearce, the same squad as I had in round one, if I'm not mistaken.
And driven straight, a little deflection, no interest in a run from either of the batters. And you're on the money. That's identical side from the previous game. If you've been with us throughout the afternoon, you would have seen that one-run victory, the Hoppers Hurricanes over the Mavericks. And into the backcourt for 4 runs. Olivia Voss helping herself to some big runs there off the second last ball of the over. And it turns into a really good start for the Scorpions. Here's Alex Weeks. Play and miss. 9 runs from the over. Comfortable start for the Scorpions.
Olivia Voss out there at the moment. Her sister is Charlotte Voss in grade 10, which makes them around 15 years of age, there or thereabouts. part of the Queensland 17 girls side in 2019. So it's very tricky when you're playing at this kind of level when you're that tender age. But when it comes to skill, not an issue at all. But you need very sensible head on your shoulders out there, and Alexandra Weeks would certainly be able to assist that. Just being very young herself, Captain Alex Weeks, the Australian 21s player and the Queensland Lightning player. It seems like we've been commentating her for a million thousand years, Alexandra Weeks.
Did you just say 1,000,000?
1,000,000.
1,000,000 years, I see.
1,000,000. I've possibly used a bit of theatrical license on that one, mate. Possibly not quite that long.
Well, I just want to know what 1,000,000 is. Is that a billion?
Or they'd have to be close.
Big swing and a miss. Front foot went the wrong way. Yeah, good to see Springwood, their captain, Alex Weeks, young captain. I mean, I suppose the side is pretty young for the most part, but putting their trust in her.
Yeah, you're quite right. There aren't too many players that are much older. As we look down through the list, third ball opportunity here with the last delivery of the second over. We'll watch this play out, and that's good running there, straight on it, and just being missed there by Sue Rose as over's called. You know, you look through that list, you know, they've got a few in their squad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And they're all quite young, possibly, and I say this again with the greatest amount of respect, but Shelley Savage looks to be one of the more seasoned players. The rest, grade 11s, grade 12s, and early 20s.
Yeah, it looks like in the whole squad, Kat Jenkins, Shelley Savage are the vets, and in this particular lineup, it's as you said, Shelley Savage, an Australian Masters player, heading to South Africa shortly. So otherwise, a fairly youthful side for Springwood. Here's Haynes, a deflection off the fielder and no run.
And that kind of gives a bit of an indication about where Queensland is in indoor cricket at the moment. You know, Emily Valance, for example, 17-year-old, playing in the open women's Queensland side. So the Maroons, north of the border, they're certainly not afraid to blood their young players, their youth, and get them involved. And I mean, you've got a side here that's in the National Indoor Cricket League final series, and their birth certificates, the ink isn't even dry on them yet.
Flat but safe into the back court there from Alex Weeks. So just 2 though. Score ticks along to 17. Oh, good piece of fielding that is. The throw just not quite on the mark, but she got quickly to that ball, surprised Voss, I think, and almost had her out at the keeper's end. In the end, Voss home safely. 2 fielders on the legs of Voss. Ball punched through the gap nonetheless for 2.
Yeah, very sure that delivery, having a lot of time, Voss, and sometimes that can be your undoing when you've got a little bit too much time, but very measured approach.
Could have left that, but wanted the runs.
I was about to say the exact same thing. Could have easily left that one, Alexandra Weeks, but decided to get bat on ball. The South East Queensland women's competition, a very strong one here in the NICL. 8 sides competing in it, which is extremely healthy. And the top 2 teams this season, the Springwood Scorpions and the Toombul Tigers, they've been battling it out like absolute crazy, but certainly not to be outdone. The Wynnum Seagulls and the Victoria Point Vipers, certainly worthy of a mention.
How did the final play out?
Yeah, it was a pretty, it was a bit, I wouldn't say a blowout, but the Springwood Scorpions 82 defeated the Toombul Tigers 58. The Scorpions actually picked up all 4 skins. It's a little bit uncharacteristic, I think, of the way that those teams were actually playing throughout the year. I know that they did have closer encounters than that.
Including 1 run.
That's right.
Yeah.
On April 27, 71-70, the Scorpions just got across the Toombul Tigers.
And then again on the 10th of August, 100-101. Jesus, 2 1-ball games.
Yeah.
2-1 run games, I should say.
And that's why that's 3, possibly 4, is it? As I look down, yes, it is. You know, that's why that final was slightly surprising with the outcome, because those teams were very close all throughout the year.
Well, this pair doing the job, opening for the Scorpions. They find themselves on 27 with 2 balls to play. And we're playing a miss there, so makes it tougher for them to get to 30, but good start nonetheless. 1 to come. Wow. Just finds the side net, and might have said it'd be tough for them to get to 30 there, but Voss helps herself to 3 and posts exactly that. A great opening partnership for the Springwood Scorpions. 30 runs on the board here in this women's division match at the National Indoor Cricket League final series for 2019. If you've just joined us, it is the Springwood Scorpions batting up against the Hoppers Crossing Hurricanes, who are in the field. I am Cameron Walter, and with me is Gary Lowe, as we see Shelley Savage and Charlotte Voss this time, Olivia Voss's older sister, come out to bat and continue this accumulation of runs for the Scorpions. Let's take an opportunity to talk to our viewers, Lowy, about the upcoming final edition of the Yellow Ball podcast.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a big one. We're up to episode, I think, 15 or 16, possibly, which will be the final episode for 2019. Short, of course, of Michael Clark coming on the podcast. We've been in discussions with his team and his personal assistant. He's currently gallivanting across the world, but there's a very real opportunity that he'll be coming on. But as we watch this ball tucked around the corner, no run scored. But yeah, the final episode, of course, the Yellow Ball podcast, complementing the National Indoor Cricket League, and we'll bring you all the action and the latest interviews, and we're going to get some Tasmanian cricketers involved as well, so sure to be a really great wrap-up of what's been a very successful season. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Whooshka, or wherever you find your podcasts. And
with the final edition, what are you going to do with your time, Lowy?
Oh, mate.
What are you going to do? Interview yourself?
It's my life, isn't it? We'll go out and get a Yellow Ball podcast tattoo, mate. Who knows? But no, it'd be nice. You know, the episodes generally go for the shortest one's 30, the longest ones have been upwards of 50, depending on who's been interviewed. But a lot of work goes in to those episodes. Podcast producer Justin Roulon does a wonderful job, and we're certainly really grateful for the listenership that comes along with it, and your ongoing support. And of course, thank you to Cricket Australia for their ongoing commitment to the podcast. And that's spanked, isn't it? That's smashed.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be fielding on the offside
thanks.
there in the front court when that's happening. It's just one of those ones you've got to close your eyes and hope it doesn't hit you.
Oh, yeah. I'd be over in the corner sucking my thumb, rolling around in the fetal position if that was me out there. My goodness.
Oh, no. 2 at one end. A certain wicket here. And they make no mistake. There probably was a run there, but Shelley Savage not interested. If you take a look at the replay, thanks to playcricket.com.au, Charlotte Voss had set off and has almost run 2 all by herself then. Whose call do you think that was, Lowy?
Bit of both, I guess, there, isn't it? I mean, the thing is with the striker, they've got their concrete boots on. You know, the non-striker's always on the move, so they're going to be thinking, right, I can get through here a little bit easier, whereas the poor old striker, they're on the back foot and they've played in their stationary and then have to prop and kind of go. I think you're quite right. If they went through immediately with a good call, I think they would have been safe, but unfortunately not the case. So -2, this batting partnership, 28 the total for the Springwood Scorpions.
Yeah, you can't afford sort of gift wickets like that in final series like this, although don't have to do too much to secure a berth. They've just got to finish top 2 in a 4-team women's division. So it probably is a little bit easier in terms of your win-loss ratio. You don't have to worry about winning every game, but certainly what does come into play will be skins, definitely. Every team will be out to win as many of those as possible. And if they're not going to win every game and finish first, then win some and sneak in a second. Get a spot in that final, a chance to play for $10,000 as Shelley Savage hits it down, up 4. Handy runs.
Yeah, very handy. That's hit extremely high into the 3 net as well. That's where we are in the commentary box. We're almost in line, well, we are in line with the umpire. And that was, you know, only 2 or so feet away from the top springs. Exemplary shot. So 2 fielders on the leg side. Good to see them change things up again. Shelley Savage moving around the Springwood field, in fact, saying, oh, you're meant to be on the offside.
I wouldn't be saying a word.
No. No.
I also, I know that a lot of batters do it, and with good reason, move as the non-striker to the side of the pitch, depending on where the other 2 are, but I don't move for anybody. I'm always standing on the right-hand side of the screen, and that's where I'm staying.
That's it.
Yeah.
This is the Cameron Walter Express.
Yeah.
Stopping no stations.
Correct. And it's mainly because I'm just terrible at running from the other side. Well, I'm terrible at running full stop, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, I did actually, and it's quite fortuitous that we're watching another Hoppers game. And I've just shortened Hoppers, Hurricanes into Hoppers, by the way, for those playing the home game. Maybe I should be a little bit more professional than that, but Hoppers is the way I'm running with it. Fix your eyes on Sue Rose when she's at the non-strikers end. She doesn't actually have her bat in the crease. It's more so she's got her rear foot in, like she's about to take off for an 800-metre start when she's in the blocks. Don't
know how I feel about that.
No, I mean, this is my thoughts on it anyway. She's giving up an extra 1.5 feet, 2 foot. You know, if she has her bat in there and takes a bit of a lead, then she's obviously closer to the striker's end.
It's also harder to stop and turn around. So, yeah, very
unorthodox.
Yeah, we were talking before, I think in one of the men's games, about how, you know, these days the school of thought is, well, if it works for you, then do it. We're not going to try and change something.
I think was the man in question.
Exactly. So, I mean, it was a similar thing for Sue Rose. Maybe that's just always worked for her. As unusual as it might look and work, but whatever floats your boat. Another 2 runs to Voss. Apparently pretty talented across many sports is Charlotte Voss. Not bad at rugby sevens and soccer as well. Pretty handy indoor cricketer.
Yeah, slight mix-up but no damage done. Yeah, obviously got wonderful dexterity and hand-eye coordination there. Rugby sevens, geez, you've got to have a pretty big motor on you and be able to take a couple of hits as well in that thing. That's crazy. And the ladies out there having a bit of a dance and a waltz every so often. They're moving across from one side to the other. The field is not sure where they're off to.
I thought for a moment that Voss was going to try and swat that one at the back court and that she'd really misjudged the length, but she set herself up well to ultimately to play the shot that she did. Nice down up 2 on her offside. And Shelley Savage follows up with an even better one on her offside. They move now to 23 with a ball to come in the 7th over.
Yeah, and this batting partnership skipping ahead, and is the total as well. I've mucked up all my words just then, but 53 is where they're off to. Looking at a very, very big total indeed. I was having a chat to Bryony Polkinghorn after her match earlier on, and the mail is that Zoe Griffiths will be arriving tomorrow. Here, almost said in country. We're in Queensland. We're not that far away. My word. So she will be replacing, or not replacing, but generally out on court in replacement of Claire Haynes, the number 5.
Well, it's a pretty handy addition, Zoe Griffiths.
Oh, extraordinarily. Her resume is massive. Claire Haynes, of course, has been playing indoor cricket forever and a day, and has been manager and assistant coaches and been playing Victoria Masters. But if you can have Zoe Griffiths come in, who's right at the peak of her powers, it's just going to strengthen an already very strong side.
Oh, chance there, a collision. Well, fielder had right away there. See, this is one of the things that just bothers me about the rule, Loey, is, okay, if the fielder's got right of way, then the batter can't do what she just did. So you always see fielders get penalised for getting too close and hitting a batter. How is that not misconduct on the part of the batter? You say, okay, you've got to hold your line, but that's not the rule. The rule is the fielder's got right of way, which means you have to move around them.
Are you suggesting the batsman should be penalised for that kind of play?
Well, if the fielder does, then why wouldn't if the fielder's got right of way, if the batter has right of way, and you, the fielder, interfere and you get penalised for it, why doesn't the same work in reverse? As a fielder, if I'm out there on the court, I should feel, if I'm there fielding the ball, I should be able to do so without fear I'm going to get run into.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
And I can tell you, that's what the rule is written. That's the way it is written. It's designed to increase the safety of both batter and fielder, based on who actually has the right of way. So the onus is on the person that doesn't to get out of the way. And too often you see what just happened then, and I'm not saying there's anything malicious in it, but no. Fielder coming across to rightly field the ball, has right of way, batter just goes bang, hits them. If we're penalising one, we should be penalising both, in my view.
You make a good argument.
I've thought about it for a long time.
You don't have a side hustle as a solicitor or something like that going on, do you?
No, but having coached for that long, I've advocated my, my viewpoints once or twice. And viewpoint aside, that was another fantastic partnership there for Springwood. 29 on the board. They moved to 59 halfway through the innings. And they'd be happy with that, wouldn't they, Springwood?
You'd be chuffed. You'd be doing backflips. You'd be over the moon. We know that 110, 120 mark is really not uncommon territory for teams like this. And, we saw the Hoppers side come out and only get mid-80s, early 90s. So at the moment, it is advantage Scorpions as far as I'm concerned.
Stacey Rockcliffe on strike for her first ball. Her partner Monique Brummer from Springwood. Hayhurst is the bowler for Hoppers. It is the National Indoor Cricket League Final Series, the Women's Division. Springwood Scorpions up against Hoppers Crossing Hurricanes. Again, I'm Cameron Walter. With me is Gary Lowe. And the Scorpions, they're batting the house down at the moment. We saw this in the earlier women's game, a rock-solid start from both teams, and then it fell away. Can the Scorpions maintain this wonderful start they've had? That's got to be a no ball. It is. And Brummer gets through for an extra 2 runs. Pretty handy delivery of that one for the Scorpions.
Yeah, it's a term that I've been using since having some commentary duties with Chris Griffin from the ACT. He called it a multiplier.
A multiplier?
And I didn't mind that he didn't mean to kind of use that term of phrase, but I like that, the no balls, the multipliers, it adds on. Obviously, wides and leg sides, you hit it, you don't get those extra runs because it's no longer a wide or a leg side. But those multipliers, your no ball off the pitches, your front foots, your no ball too highs, they're really, really costly. So I don't know if we're going to start using some new lingo here in indoor cricket, but I like that term.
The pedant in me doesn't like it because it's an addition, not a multiplication.
This is true. Yeah.
Hate to be pedantic, but that's my jam.
Well, I suppose 2 for the no ball and 2 for the run. What's 2 times 2? 4.
Well, you make a good point, but if
it only works for that, though.
That's right. If it was 2 plus a 5.
Or 2 times 7.
I imagine if it actually was a multiplier.
Now that would be something.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Now we're talking some pretty crazy rule changes. There's always the indoor cricket centre will have a jackpot ball, but...
I hate it because I always get out on it.
Yeah, that's right. For those might be interested to know, some indoor cricket centres have an alternative rule. As we watch this come down, it's... again, there's been some very good down-up shots in this game thus far. My goodness, that's right up into the Springs. But some in-house and domestic competitions in the last over the batting pair, they'll have, or even throughout the whole batting innings or batting partnership, you can have one delivery which you nominate to be the jackpot.
Oh, that should be out at the top. It's a direct hit in the end, but she went looking to go to the wrong end, Loey.
Took forever and a day. So, maybe a multiplier ball, Cameron.
Oh, or just any extra multipliers.
Yeah, that's good. I tell you what, you wouldn't see too many no ball front foot, no balls in a hurry. And
What's going on here?
not exactly sure what's happening. It looks like it's a change of stumps again, if you can believe it.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
We've seen a few. Not even making this up, I reckon we've seen about 7 in 3 games.
Well, fortunately, plenty of spare stumps right now. A couple of empty courts, so it's game on. Just more work to do for the venue staff here at Action Indoor Sports Toombul. They're doing a great job downstairs. Of course, in the bar here upstairs. If you're in the area, come down for your Friday night. The men's game coming up after this one, or spend some time with us on the weekend. Have a bevo, Chico roll.
Yeah, I was making love to a Chico roll about 20 minutes ago. They're unreal.
Pierce continuing. It's left alone by Rockcliffe and called fair, and rightly so. And just looking at some of the buyers we got for some of the players, I think whoever's written this has actually sold Bryony Polkinghorne short. I'm sure that she's won International Player of the Year twice. It just does say ×1.
Yeah, we might have to catch up with Miss Polkinghorne and ask her exactly what it is, but I tend to agree with you. I mean, I'm sure she wouldn't mind us saying it twice, even if it was only once.
Well, it definitely is twice. I think it's possible if they've listed the Monica Brogan medal as a separate line on them.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Maybe they're calling it because that's what it was called when she won it. Not sure, but I think she's also won what's now called the Monica Brogan medal. So, yeah, again, I think they're just deleting a couple of line items off her already impressive CV there for her. But talking about CVs, this batting partnership will have another line item on theirs. They've progressed well to 15. They're keeping this score ticking over here for Springwood. Looking the goods, they are. 15 on the board for the pair. Here's Claire Haynes. And an easy as you like two to Rockcliffe continues the accumulation for the Scorpions.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing here from the Scorpions. A young side, but playing like seasoned veterans. Lots of shots with very, very minimal risk associated with it. And that term, quite right. It's just, I say that, unfortunately, it's up-ish. They get away with one. Yes.
Sharp chance, but you'd think that should have been taken?
Oh, absolutely. It was right in the breadbasket there, but
it's Pierce it is there.
Yeah, Liz Pierce. And sometimes you're just waiting for an opportunity. 7 it could be, and it is all the way. Maximin runs. We wait for the call. The umpire holds us in suspense for a little while. Stacey Rockcliffe.
Have a look at this on the replay. Basically runs at it. Thank you. Scoops it up. Exactly the right trajectory. A chance for the run out, but she would have been home. And, well, that helps the Scorpions' cause.
Well, we knew it was going to be a big score, but this could be monumentally big. And they're the kind of shots that I'm talking about. That is brilliant. You've just zacked a 7, or
Stacey Rockcliffe.
Yeah, that play did, but the batting partnership just zacked a 7.
Yeah.
And the very next delivery, measured, smart, down up 2. Good cricket, really good cricket. This is impressive.
Flirting with the leg sideline, called fair by the umpire, Wayne Thomas. Final ball of the over. Beaten and stumping. Gee, they needed that, didn't they? Hoppers crossing. It's a good piece of work. Change up delivery. And Sue Rose made no mistake.
Yeah, there was no real aggression from the shot. She did try just to paddle it away, but just dragged her out of her crease as we watch the replay. She's going to go play and just keeps reaching for it and doesn't quite get there. So it's, yeah, nice little change up.
Don't come much easier than that in terms of stumpings. Full visibility of the ball all the time in the world. They will bank a wicket, much needed wicket. Final over the pair. Springwood still looking good. They'll be annoyed that they've given up a wicket there, but they're still well placed for 30 plus in this pair. Back underway. Chance at the top. Throw is wide. Tamsin Wright, the bowler. Beaten again. Rockcliffe, who right up until that stumping has looked absolutely rock solid, the stumping, and then that ball, the first real chinks in the armour.
Let's put her back into her shell just for that one delivery at least. And that one there, yes, no, go, no. Tentative.
It will be third ball now. Crucial moment for Hoppers Crossing. Oh, my word, Monique Brummer. Oh,
do you reckon there was a chance for a man cat if they took it?
Have a look at this. She set off for the 100-metre dash. She is gone. Look at that. She is halfway down before the ball's even gone. I can't believe that.
That's quite extraordinary.
That's audacious.
Absolutely no respect.
I'm speechless. I mean, Tamsin Wright, would have had a good 3 seconds of visibility of that. That was man cat for days. Through for 2 to finish the pair. 26 runs from it. A good fight back there from Hoppers Crossing. A wicket and plenty of dots there in that over. Really pegged the pair back. They were looking good for 35, even 40. So they're sticking around at Hoppers Crossing, but Springwood Scorpions will be pretty happy. 85 runs on the board as Blaine Gibbs and Kat Jenkin come out to bat for Springwood.
I don't generally like to ask ourselves questions that we don't know the answers to for fear of making us look like complete gooses, but I will say this. Tamsin Wright coming in, I used to know the answer, but it's escaped my brain, but I'll find out, I assure you. Tamsin Wright coming in, she sees that non-striker take off. If she just stops after a few steps in, Tamsin Wright, and just throws the stumps down as a run out, that's obviously not a man cad because she's not in proper stride.
The minute she starts her delivery stride, the next ball is commenced.
That's right.
So you can't stop and then run her out.
You don't think that she's got every right to do that? So she can't do anything about the non-striker taking off until she gets to the man-cad. But she's got to run all the way down and then do the man-cad. So the non-striker in that sense can run forward and run back and do whatever they want outside their ground until the bowler gets to affect the man-cad. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. I just think that I think that once she's commenced her run-up, that she can choose to not bowl the ball and wait till she gets back in a crease. But I think that once you've commenced your run-up, that's it.
I'm not so sure.
So what are you suggesting? She can take 2? I mean, you're relying on somebody. In the case before, Monique Brummer left when she was in a delivery stride.
Yes.
So your example is going to rely on somebody leaving that early. That you probably could stop and just run them out. Gee, where's that gone? Spilled into the side net for 3.
Maybe one of our resident umpires on the socials might be. I know it's umpire Andrew Potts has been watching every single game.
Umpire Potts, yeah.
He's been watching everything. This is probably the one game he hasn't tuned in for. Probably we'll get his opinion later.
Again, you're relying on an act of abject stupidity from the non-striker.
It's one of those crazy red herring things that used to often come up in umpire workshops before tournaments. And tournament director Shepley would just throw these ridiculous things at you that would never happen in a million years. But at least if it did ever happen, you'd be ready for it, I guess. And look at this game. Oh, my word. So 93 is the total. And we know we discussed at the top of the broadcast the potential for 120. And Blaine Gibbs and Kat Jenkin, I'm pretty sure that's meant to be an S at the end of that. It's not on the scoreboard. You know, they could well and truly, I know it is Jenkin, so it's the team sheet that's incorrect. In any event, You know, 120, it's a very real thing. And from what we saw the first time with Hoppers, I don't know if they can chase down 120. You asked me at the beginning of the day if Hoppers could chase down 120. I looked you dead in the eyeball and said, of course
no,
they would.
Yeah, well, yeah, but what we haven't seen yet is Springwood, how their attack's going to fare against the batting of Hoppers Crossing. So 120 might be well within the reach of Hoppers Crossing. Time will tell. Rose down up 2 to Gibbs.
Oops, it's gone through the net.
Oh no.
Keep running.
Dead ball.
Yeah, we'll have that one rebowled. No fielder threw the ball out of the court trying to affect a run out or anything of that nature. So we just have that one again. Sometimes that Burley Seacombe indoor cricket ball just squeezes through the tiniest nooks and crannies. Playing inside a big fishing net, sometimes that happens.
Helps yourself to 2 on the other side. This time the ball stays in the court and Gibbs will stay at this end of it. Jenkin on strike. Catches some net there, 2 runs.
Blaine Gibbs, a current Queensland 21 and under player, and one player of the final in the South East Queensland division. It's a no ball off the pitch, possibly missed. I generally reserve my judgment until the umpires made their decision, but I think I've gone off a bit early there. I could have been wrong, but it did look awfully close.
Gibbs kicked it back to the keeper, doing Hoppers a favour.
It's a nice bit of fielding.
99 on the board, 2 to come in the 14th. These two doing it pretty comfortably at the moment. I don't think Hoppers Crossing Hurricanes are asking enough questions of the 2 batters.
Yeah, and you can tell that there's been a game plan put in place here by the old coaching staff with this Springwood side. They've put their plan in place and they're perfecting it.
Smacked into the back court. Another 4 runs from the final ball of the over, and it is all Springwood at the moment. We'll check in quickly with the other match taking place. Right now it is the Casey Stars up against the Mid-North Coast Mavericks. Casey batting first, 53 midway through the 15th over. Again, it's National Indoor Cricket League final series action for 2019. Thanks for your company right around Australia and the world. Hayley Landy will bowl now for the Hurricanes. Bit of work to do with these last 2 overs. Can the Scorpions get past that magical 120 barrier? Top of the table clash, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're enjoying it. Friday night. It's full, good use of the feet, and it's another, not sure which net it caught from my position, 4 runs. We are upstairs at Toombul, if you're familiar with the centre, overlooking the court. Whoa. Surprised Gibbs, I think.
Yeah, she thought it was going to be sliding down leg side, but unfortunately it's come back at quite an acute angle, catching her off guard for sure. Recently semi-famous Blaine Gibbs, is hit for 2.
I can only think that she's crept out of a crease there.
We'll see.
Not called no ball. That was...
yeah, I was not sure if we'll be able to grab a replay on it potentially, but I think that's what the umpire gestured that potentially she did. But
well, it can be the only reason that was called fair. I mean, there's no way that's not a no ball.
Here we go, as you watch the replay, surely she came down.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's a very good call. For that to be a no ball too high, the back foot needs to be behind the crease, and the foot doesn't necessarily have to be grounded either. It can be suspended up in the air, and you can see that only by a mere 25, 30 centimetres that she was out of her ground. Good call there by the official, umpire Wayne Thomas.
And Kat Jenkin using her feet again and helps herself to another 4 run. She's not shy of running at 1 or 2, and herself has moved to 20 and Blaine Gibbs on 13. Well, they're looking the goods. Gary Lowe, it's going to be an impressive total for the Scorpions unless the Hurricanes can fight back here. It'll be their skipper, Bryony Polkinghorne, to bowl the final over of the innings. Can she peg them back, grab a wicket or 2?
Well, she's going to have to, because this is starting just to get a little bit silly now. The Scorpions, I mean, 130 plus. I mean, that's something that could be seriously about to happen in just a few short minutes' time. Before that, no ball carry on that we're looking at. I was going to say Blaine Gibbs semi-famous. She had a photo with a guy called Billy Slater the other night when she was at the football. Watching the North Queensland Cowboys play. Blaine Gibbs from traditionally from that part of the world, Townsville, I believe. Townsville Wildcats is where she plays her cricket from time to time. Or at least certainly in her earlier stages of playing for the Scorpions this evening and in the NICL season.
A chance, good piece of fielding, but Jenkin was home.
Yeah, not a lot more Hoppers could do there. That was sharp fielding.
Yeah,
everything about it was great. Just getting through a little bit too quick. Look how fast this fielding was. Ooh, it was tight, but it was right.
It's not a bad delivery, and an even better shot from Jenkin. Got an all-round game as a bat, does she not? Happy to run it a couple and send him into the back court. Equally positions herself well and sends him down up into the front court.
Yeah, you can't get much better than that.
Final ball now, 125 on the board, short. It's pulled down and up into the onside net for 2, and 127 runs on the board for Springwood. It's a great start to this match for them. Hoppers Hurricanes will have it all to do here in the National Indoor Cricket League. We're here thanks to our broadcast partners, Sportscast Australia, and of course Burley Seacom, who provide all the indoor cricket balls for all of Cricket Australia's events, the gold standard of indoor cricket ball. Keep your eye on nicl.com.au for all the fixtures and results from the weekend's final series. And Cricket Australia indoor on all your favourite social media as well, as this nationwide year-long tournament is reaching its conclusion pretty rapidly. If you've just joined us, I'm Cameron Walter, and with me is Gary Lowe. Thank you so much for your company throughout the day. This game, the second last game of the evening, coming up later on at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. It's the Burrows and the Sharks in Pool B of the men's competition. The Burrows from Strathpine and the Sharks from Morford Vale in South Australia. It'll close out what's been a great day so far. Hope you have enjoyed it. Stick with us for this one. It's going to have to be a big run chase from the Hoppers Hurricanes. Lowy, do you think they've got it in them?
No.
In a word?
No, look, they can, and they're still out there having a very lengthy discussion, aren't they? The Hoppers side, the Springwood Scorpions are out there all raring to go and still having a power hour, the Hoppers side. I mean, as I said this morning when we broadcast their first game, and they had 120 in them, but it's really shocked me, the score that they did get against, who did they play? My apologies.
Mid-North Coast Mavericks.
That they did. So that's put the fear of all sorts of things into me. Look, I'm sure they can. They've got the ability to do it. That last skin of 42.
Pretty casual.
Oh, wasn't it? What? I'm sure that Hopper's side would love for that to have maybe had something with a 2 in front of it, because then it's something easily a little bit more run down. The Scorpions, for the second time in 2 seasons, or sorry, in the first NICL, I should say. We were talking about it this morning off air. You were quite right, Cameron, actually. The Scorpions, we thought, hold on a second. They were from Victoria West.
That's right.
And this Scorpions side.
Yeah, different Scorpions.
Yes, that's right, because we had to have a bit of a double look, didn't we? We were like, oh, hold on a second. But yeah, that was just when I was doing my homework a little bit early on. The Kings, 126, defeated the Scorpions 68 in NICL number 1 in the women's division. Last year, the Raiders, 85, from Croydon defeated the Stepney Thunder from South Australia, 79.
So it's been nothing but Victoria so far in the Women's National Indoor Cricket League. And it has to be said, I think the winner of this game here would automatically slot into favourite status for this comp. And what I think, Lowy, there's been a couple of games where I've shared the commentary box with you where a Victorian side, whether it be a club side like this one or a Victorian state side, has had Bryony Polkinghorne in it and have had to come out last needing big runs.
Yeah.
Gee, they must be tempted to bring her out earlier.
Yeah, it is. It's very tempting because the whole thing is, I mean, she's a game winner, there's no doubt about it. But if you put her into an environment where it's not possible for her to win the game, then she's got nil effect.
Yep. Yeah, so to be tempted. Maybe they'll see how this first pair goes. Alana Myson on strike there, happy to let that leg side go. Thames and Wright, her partner, at the other end.
Look, if this batting partnership is against the ropes and they start getting belted around a little bit, taking punches left, right and centre from the Scorpions outfit, I would like to see the Hoppers side be able to be fluid and just go, you know what, okay, we've got to be a bit flexible here. The game situation's changed as much. Our game plan should with it.
Yeah, and I think that's an important statement to send as well, as Olivia Voss continues. And down up 2 to Thames and Wright to open her account. It's important that opponents don't know exactly what your batting lineup's going to be. I mean, if you consistently bat the same people in the same places, well, it's so much easier to plan your bowling strategy around that.
100%.
If you're not going to change given the circumstances, well, I mean, they might, and that change might not involve moving Bryony Polkinghorne. It might, you know, but you've got to adapt. You have to change based on the circumstances of the match. 2 to come in the first over. Leg side. A couple of those ones certainly help the Hoppers crossing cause. If we can't, there's one ball to come. Just watch this one. Another wide. That helps as well. A great start for Hoppers. 11 runs from it. Can't sell the rest of this side short. This batting lineup certainly does have the capability of getting to the point where maybe Polkinghorne and whoever she does end up batting with come out needing 20.
Yeah.
20 or 30 instead of 50 or 60. So very much game on. This is a team that I think will just hang around throughout this run chase. They'll just stay in touch, and never be out of it, and maybe until the last over.
Yeah, we saw them in their first game have a run chase that was timed to absolute perfection. And they're seasoned out of that ball, just staying inside the line. Likewise in the women's division, how it's all been Victoria. In the men's division, it's also been Queensland, Wynnum Seagulls in NICL 1 and Toombul Tigers in NICL 2. So,
well, the thing I like the most about that, Lowy, other than, well, the thing I dislike is the Queensland thing, but is that in both divisions we're yet to have back-to-back. Well, nobody's won it more than once.
Yeah.
Which shows that the competition is dynamic. It's changing each year, the characteristics of it. This is third ball. They're going to get through. Oh, will they? Oh, good piece of fielding. Gee. Alana Myson. Don't think she was really hip to what was happening there, Lowy.
A lot closer than what it needed to be, but watch the replay. She certainly wasn't hip to what was happening.
Oh, that is out. That is out.
On toast.
Gets away with one, does Myson.
Yeah, she was just tiptoeing through the tulips without a care in the world.
Well, I tell you what, not only was Myson not hip to what was going on, I don't think the Scorpions were either. That appeal should have been much more convincing than that. They should have been going up deluxe. But, well, it is what it is. We've got a short delay here. I think Alex Weeks might have caught one on the end of her thumb. Might need some attention. From somebody. She doesn't look that impressed with what's going on.
No, she doesn't look overly thrilled about what's happening out on court.
Hopefully it's not a dislocation. That's never fun. Maybe more likely a nail or something like that. But tell you what, if that's a dislocation and a serious one, that's it's a pretty dramatic thing to occur for the Scorpion skipper.
It is, particularly thumbs as well, because they're stand-alone, whereas if you do something with another finger, at least you can tape it later on and use it as a bit of a splint, whereas the thumb, she's out there just wafting around. So we'll keep an eye on the time, 2 minutes for injuries. As the temperature begins to drop here a little bit in Brisbane, it's been a very nice, warm day.
And my decision to wear a sweater is finally paying off.
Finally, it's we had to wait until almost midnight and we got there.
Gee, how many tabs have you got open over there, Loey?
Oh, mate, I know. And you'd hate that. That'd be one of your pet hates.
No, mate, I'm the same.
Oh, good.
I've usually got 4 or 5 browser windows open, each with bloody 30 tabs in them.
I've got a few going on. So it's 17 degrees earlier on today. It was 22 with 50% humidity. It's now 17 degrees with 72% humidity.
Yeah, Queensland.
I don't work for the Bureau of Meteorology, I assure you. I've just got this little device next to me called Google.
Well, Google's not a device. It's a
search
platform.
engine. Well, we're starting...
Yeah, it's getting close.
To get there in 20 seconds' time. That's been 2 minutes, and I'm sure the official will be all over that.
Well, it looks to me like they're having a conversation as to whether or not Alex Weeks is going to stay on the court. I'm not sure what she's done. Looks like she might be leaving the court. Now, if she's bleeding, which
I don't think that she is bleeding. I'm going to have a bit of a sticky beak down. No, she's not. That's not a blood-related injury. So if someone comes on to...
that's the end of the game for Alex Weeks.
That's right. She's...
well, that's a huge call to make. That's
Yeah.
their captain. And, well, she's come off for one of 2 reasons. She either simply cannot continue and the injury is that bad, in which case that's a serious problem for the Scorpions, or they're trying to protect her for the remainder in this game, which is another sign that the injury is bad. So a significant moment for the Scorpions, but I tell you what, they've not replaced her.
That's right. So that gives some kind of indication about the severity. Obviously, it's something that they believe they can manage because they've got the intention of her returning to the court. If they didn't,
I assume they have players here that can...
Yeah, they do. They've got Holly-Ann Beckton,
right,
who's off to the side, ready to go.
Okay, so Gary Lowe was talking you through, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that they had 2 minutes to address that. So it may be that they're just giving themselves some extra time to try and get it right, but I do see that Ruby Blunn from the Scorpions, number 11, is over on the other court warming up. So may be that she's going to be substituted, and the only reason she hasn't been is because they didn't have a replacement fielder ready to go, or it may be they're giving themselves some time. But either way, it's a big moment in the game. Not only are the Scorpions fielding with 7 at the moment, and look, I've got to tell you, if there's no intent for Alex Weeks to come back, then the fact that they don't have a fielder ready to walk on the court and take up an 8th spot is pretty poor.
Particularly when you've got 2 there ready to go.
That's right. So, and if there is no intent for it to come back and they don't have the fielder ready, well, they're going to cop a couple of overs here of 7 fielders, and that just makes life much, much easier. You can see here there's only 3 fielders, one of which is the wicketkeeper in the front court. So it's 2 all day for these 2, sitting on 15 halfway through their batting pair. And there's 2 of them right now.
And I'd be inclined to keep the 4 in the front court.
As would I.
For me.
Yep.
Because the vast majority and the overwhelming majority of shots played in indoor cricket are going to be in your front court. You're just gifting runs away by allowing that to occur. And you know what? If they want to go back net,
let them.
Go for it. Try.
Yeah, that's right. And so far this over's been sort of outside of off stump, right? So put your hole here on the at mid-on.
Yep.
And make them play across the line and step across to it. If they do it, well, good luck to them. And if they get away with it, that's the consequence of only having 7 fielders. Bad luck. But 1 fielder either side of the in the front court, no, not enough pressure.
We don't disagree on many things, Cameron Walter, and we're not disagreeing on this one either. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Because you're making them play a shot that's not very characteristic for them. You're forcing them to do things. They're thinking about that.
Yeah.
And if they do, well, that's just indoor cricket, isn't it?
Look, you can hedge your bets a little as well. They get away with that one as well. You can hedge your bets if you worry about having, let's say it was mid-off, empty, you put your fielder a little deep in the front court there, but at least you've still got a closer presence.
I forget which team it was at Nationals that we saw this year, Cam, you might remember. Or perhaps not. But there was a team that really employed no wicket keeper. And that seemed to have had, I mean, they could do that in this option or in this instance as well. Me personally, I probably wouldn't, but it is something that is available. You don't have to have a wicket keeper in indoor cricket. And then you can maintain that 2 on the offside, 1 on leg field. Of course, foregoing any stumpings. Again, I wouldn't do that, but it is an option.
Well, maybe they've been listening to us because they've now got 4 fielders in the front court. It's their mid-off position that's empty.
Yeah.
And, well, as you see, that ball was sort of in the area of middle and off. And Tamsin Wright didn't try and hit into that gap. She just played the ball on its merits and hit it for 2. So they haven't lost anything by this current field configuration.
Yep.
But they have gained something in the front court.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is definitely the way to go. Maybe they are tuning in.
Yeah. So 4 to come. We've sort of lost track of the fact that these 2 batters for Hoppers Crossing are doing a job here. They're 4 to come. The skin well and truly in play. And as we mentioned earlier, they're just hanging around, staying in touch. It's back to Alex Weeks. I didn't actually see what happened with that either, did you?
No, I didn't catch it either. There was certainly no blood from what I saw, so I think you might have been quite right. Dr. Walter, with your first diagnosis, that perhaps it has just popped out, or it's a fracture of some description.
Yeah, it's not difficult to fracture a thumb.
Yeah. Because it certainly didn't look quite trivial, didn't it? Like, you know, you wouldn't think there would be a break or anything like that. There was no real force.
It was well kept off the net there from Gibbs. And I tell you what, if it was a fracture or dislocation, she's a master at not showing any pain. Alex Weeks, she didn't look that impressed with what was going on, but she certainly wasn't screaming her head off. So hopefully, well, as much as it'd be a feather in her cap to be that good at have that higher pain threshold, hopefully that's an indication that actually wasn't that painful.
Yeah, well, she's just over here on the practice court throwing things around and warming up, so that's a
good sign, great sign.
Good sign.
Yep. So down up 2, and with that, Tamsin Wright and her partner, Alana Myson, have won the first skin, so an important point there for Hoppers Crossing. Right on par in terms of keeping them there or thereabouts in pursuit of this big total. The pressure will be on them to see whether they can maintain it. And we may
she's
now
just coming
see,
about on court now.
The Springwood skipper making her way back to the gate. So you can see there that was obviously very deliberate. They made the decision that, hey, we'll take an extra 2 overs here to make sure we can get her right. And don't see that all too often.
I can't remember the last time I actually saw that.
Yeah, you say, well, look, we can't get her right. Let's get a fielder out there. But Alex Weeks, clearly that important to the side that they were happy to concede that first skin, run with 7 fielders for 2 overs, and she's back in the game.
Yeah. They've done well, the Scorpions. They they obviously really want her back out there, don't they? And I'm sure that that thumb is heavily strapped, and we'll try and get to the latest gossip after this game to see how she's travelling for future matches. But here at the moment, the Hoppers Hurricanes, they got across the line in that first skin, 31-30. Just not able to bring that ball in. Shelley Savage down in the front court. So at the moment, at this rate, the Hoppers Hurricanes will fall just a few runs short if you're going by the numbers, but it's a wonderful start. It's the most runs by any batting partnership in this game, except for that monster 42, of course, by Springwood. That just came like a bolt of lightning out of nowhere, that 42.
Yeah, sure did. Well, impressive start, as you say. challenge now is whether they can maintain it. And be interesting to see what impact the injury to Alex Weeks has on her performance in the rest of this game. So, hasn't been a game for many wickets, has it?
No, it's been a run scorer's delight.
All right, well, I've got the word from one of the medics here at the tournament that that was very much precautionary. Alex Weeks has apparently had a reconstruction of her thumb before, so there was some fear that whatever happened had caused some damage to it again, and very, very much precautionary. Go and get it looked at and taped just to make sure, but that all bodes well.
Yeah, well, if you've had any kind of reconstructive surgery on anywhere, as support staff comes out, it's obviously made some contact with
HIA.
The head, and Voss has got absolutely no care in the world. But yeah, if you've had any kind of reconstructive surgery anywhere and you tweak it, you twist it, you whack it, you hit it, it's never the same as what it used to be. And you want to look after yourself.
It's always in the back of your mind, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
Yep. But obviously haven't had a reconstruction, but I've severely rolled my ankle before, and it's never been the same. Like, it's always, I think I rolled it once pretty badly, and I've rolled it a couple of times since. So yeah, I can imagine and understand the precaution there from Alex Weeks.
And of course, she doesn't want to go back through all kinds of rehabilitation, which I've no doubt that she's been through with that kind of injury. So. Well, the first over of this new batting partnership is 9. And again, the big scores continue here at the 2019 NICL Final Series. Here at the home of the Tigers, Action Indoor Sports Stadiums in Toombul, which is in the suburb of Nunda for those playing the home game, but Toombul Tigers is the centre.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the story with that is. I mean, you're from around here. Is Toombul just a more well-known part of Brisbane? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're like right on the border.
We're on the cusp.
Yeah.
And I think to try and gain a little bit of traction with the outdoor as well.
Sure.
Toombul's
an outdoor club.
Very, very strong, well-known premier outdoor club. And this is just my theory anyway. I mean, you've got Toombul, they're more often the Toombul Tigers. I've played Nunda once when I was a small child playing in soccer, and they're called the Nunda Ducks. So not as terrifying as
the Mighty
Tiger.
Ducks, mate. Come on. Quack, quack, the flying V.
Well, yeah, there was no Emilio Estevez out there when we were playing them. So I guess maybe your Tiger's a bit stronger than a Duck.
Well, 12 on the board for the pair, 43 is the total. It's game on, ladies and gents. It may not be an innings filled with lusty hitting, but like Springwood, this is just accumulating. That's what's happening. And if indeed Hoppers end up winning or either going close to winning, this game's an illustration of how you can accumulate runs and put on big totals in 6-ball over indoor cricket. Sure, that 42 had a couple of big hits.
Yeah.
Stacey Rockcliffe hit a 7, I think. There might have been 2 of them. And Jenkin, I think, hit 3 or 4 in the back court. So there's some in there, but for the most part, it's just 2s and balls on their merits. And we're seeing the same now from Hoppers.
Yeah.
And it's going to go down to the wire, Lowy.
And I just really can't speak high to the advocacy of playing indoor cricket like that. I love that school of thought and just getting the 2s and holding onto your wicket. You don't even have to do it off every ball.
Gotta be out.
Oh dear, just not getting on top of that one and flicking that one up into the sky.
Yeah, just threw a shot too early there, I think.
Landy.
Yeah, and they don't come much easier than that if you're the fielder. I think it was, just threw it a little early. Was trying to punch that or flat that way, but ended up hitting it straight and up into the air. And Kat Jenkin, well, as easy as you like.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely simple. She could have done a few spins around, caught it behind her back. But, you know, that style of cricket, you know, you protect your wicket, you just get the 2s, and, yeah, that score does creep up.
Well, let's wide.
So this batting partnership, where do you think they're going to want to walk off at? Somewhere in the middle, you know.
Well, they need 30.
65.
I think they need 30. It's 30 a pair.
Well, that'll get them, yes, 60. If they get 30, that's 62 total. So 62, 65, somewhere around there.
Any pair that gets less than 30 here is just heaping pressure on the remaining batters. So it really is incumbent on each batter to get to that 30, however they do it. And these guys are well on track despite the loss of that wicket.
And you certainly don't want to lose too many wickets. If you've got to score 30, and let's just say you even get out twice, that means you're scoring 40 runs off your stick, which makes it hard. You get out 3 times, it turns it into a 45, and then that's extraordinarily complex. So it's a very fine line to walk between scoring runs and not giving away dismissals. At the moment, they're doing okay. They're certainly on track for 30. It's within their wheelhouse for sure, as leg side's called. Last delivery of the 7th over.
Yeah, it's probably the one thing that's been consistent across the 2 men's pools and the ladies division here is every bowling team. Whoa, she had a chance at her own end there. Rockcliffe, the keeper, and went to the top. Is too many extras. There's been way too many extras for a national event. I know it's not nationals, and we're not looking at state teams here. They are club teams, but far too many extras, and so many of them coming at pressure moments too, following a wicket or undoing 3rd ball or something like that. It's just far too many.
Yeah.
And you know, you bowl enough of them, and you're giving your opponent a 5th batting pair. Final over now of this batting pair, 50 on the board. They need 11 to get to that 30 mark that we keep talking about. Got to remember, even 30 right now is below par, but that's got to be the minimum. Landy on strike. And Savage starts well. It'll be a dot. And 3rd ball, Lowy. Big moment now.
Very big moment indeed. Watch Janelle Hayhurst of the non-strikers, then she'll be like a hare sprinting down the other end.
Beaten, and that'll be out at the top, surely. As easy as you like for Springwood. Rockcliffe took all the time in the world to get that back up to Gibbs. Fortunately for Hoppers Crossing, Landy couldn't get any bat on this. And, well, that's a training run for 3rd ball, Lowy.
Yeah, it is, and that's good from Stacey Rockcliffe because the striker doesn't necessarily have to move. Once they've played the shot, it's on the non-striker to get down the other end. But as soon as that ball was taken, just thrown straight down on the receiver's end, take the stumps, done and dusted, let's not wait around. So that's good indoor cricket. That could be called wide. Not saying it is, but it could be. Wouldn't surprise me if it was.
It wasn't. But all too often on 3rd ball as well, you see a keeper take it and then stand there with the...
Yeah, just keep glingling the stumps.
That's right. Rockcliffe knew she had all the time in the world to get it at the top, trusted her to get herself to get the throw on line, and knew Blaine Gibbs would swallow it. So
yeah, it's perfect.
Good cricket.
It's awesome.
Driven, deflected it into the side net for 2. And, well, 30 is a distant memory now for this pair, so the pressure builds on Hoppers Crossing. 2 to come.
So you'd consider a Bryony Polkinghorne coming in on the 3rd now.
Well, I would certainly consider it. Whether Hoppers Crossing do or not remains to be seen.
And look, it would be a very late change because just a couple of deliveries ago, they were on target to hit the 30. You know, you've got batting pairs ready to go. They're in the mindset that they're coming in 3rd, and then all of a sudden the game changes. It could possibly just be a little bit too late to make that switch.
We'll see, I think. Oh, that's almost a screamer. In the end, it's a brilliant piece of fielding anyway from Alex Weeks. And another wicket falls. And Springwood take control of this game. Have a look at the fielding here from the Springwood skipper. Would have been an absolute screamer. Puts it down, chases it down, gets it back to Blaine Gibbs, who has great hands at the top, and a wicket falls off the last ball. Hugely damaging wicket. And as I say, Springwood take control. It's the Women's National Indoor Cricket League final series, folks. Thanks so much for your company as Gary Lowe and myself, Cameron Walter, take you through this and all the action from Action Indoor Sports Toombul. We're here thanks to our broadcast partners at Sportscast Australia and playcricket.com.au. Women's indoor cricket played all around the country all year round. Punch in your postcode at playcricket.com.au where you can find your nearest centre, take the floor and play indoor. Great form of our Australia's favourite game, Lowy.
It is. It's a wonderful format. Plenty of current BBL players getting involved in indoor cricket.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Oh, it's a good piece of fielding again. Brum, that is. The Brummer, Monique Brummer. With the WBBL, the Women's National Cricket League, the increasing success of the Australian women's cricket team, cricket is a genuine professional pathway for talented female indoor cricketers, and the female game is exploding right around the country, and with good reason. And as you say, we see a lot of those players, either current sort of WBBL players, in and amongst the indoor equation. And if failing that, there's certainly a whole bunch of future WBBL players that we've seen come up through the ranks at junior nationals and taking part in the NICL right around the country.
Now, bang on target. Thinking of some WBBL players, Tegan McFarlane, Amanda Wellington, Carly Leeson all come to mind. That would have been very close. And you bang on target that you can now make it as a professional female cricketer. That is something that you can do. With the upcoming T20 World Cup, they're looking to sell out that grand final with over 100,000 people at the MCG.
I think the target's 90,000.
90,000. Yeah, 90,000. I've only read it about 46 times. I keep forgetting. But there you go. I mean, 90,000 people. Woo! I mean, how cool is that? I mean, if you go back a decade ago, that's not even thought of. That'd be a bridge too far. But that's very real, and in my opinion, that's going to happen. I mean, what wouldn't you? Go down there, go to the MCG, cheer on your team, have a couple of frothy. I mean, I'll have a couple of frothies.
Well, not just the final. I mean, the T20 World Cup, the women's component of that takes place in the first half of 2020. And there's games being played right around the country. So get your act together, get some tickets, get down to those games. They will be amazing exhibitions for the female game. We've got to get bums on seats. Australia are hosting it. We've got to put our money where our mouth is, get to those games and show not only the Australian women's team how much we appreciate their efforts, but every competitor in what will be an amazing T20 World Cup, culminating with 90,000 plus at the MCG, hopefully with the Australian team in the final. Yeah, on International Women's Day as well, I'm led to believe that final will be on. So, yeah, that's I can't speak high to what Cameron's just said there. It's all good and well to say, we want the women's kind of format or the women's divisions to do well, but to do nothing about it. Go out there, get a ticket, go watch it. It's awesome stuff. I was watching some of the WBBL played at Allan Border Field last year, and it was awesome. It was so good. And I think it cost, I brought my nephews along. I think tickets for the kids were like $5 or something ridiculous. Had like a kids' day. It cost me $10 to get in Allan Border Field. It was a brilliant day at the cricket. So obviously check your local guides for all the ticketing prices and the schedule coming up for the T20 World Cup. Get your tickets at cricket.com.au/tickets. Get amongst it and get amongst it here. You know how much it costs to come on down Action Indoor Sports Toombul, mate? Zero. Nothing. And it's worth every cent. If you could pay $100, you'd be not paying enough, I reckon. The action here's that good. And look, I think coming down to the centre comes with the benefit of not having to listen to us, Lois. Oh, mate. They can watch it live. but I have seen some pretty keen punters who have got the headphones in listening to us, mate. Can you believe that? Well, nah, I wouldn't believe that either. Yeah, there are actually people doing that. As another wicket falls, and Springwood well and truly taking control here. And Lowy, this goes to what we were saying before. I hate to harp on about it, but I'm going to do it anyway. What benefit is there in having either your best bat or your best pair coming in last when the game is over? Can I tell you what the benefit is? Please. There is none. Yeah, there you go. There is none. I don't like it, Lowy. I don't like it. I don't want to lick it. Nah. And you know, like we do talk about Bryony Polkinghorne a lot, but it's because she is
a star, and she's literally done everything that you can really do.
She's one of the best women's indoor cricketers in the world.
Absolutely.
That's it, hands down.
And you've got her at the moment sitting on the pine, and she's going to come out in the 4th, and there's nothing that she can do.
No. Well, look, they can blaze away and get 40-something and win a skin, but that probably won't be enough to win the game.
Even then.
Yeah.
If you're going to give her no possibility to win the game, at least send her in chasing a small skin. You're giving her no hope to win the game and saying, hey, here's 42, go hit that. So,
Well, look, it may be that, we get made a fool of and somehow they pull one out of the locker here and win this game.
Look, I hope that they do.
Or it may be that they're committing to the fact that that's what their order's going to be, and this is a mission more about getting more out of their second and third pair than it is about changing their plans. I'm not sure. It's easy for us in the box to posit our own theories, but only they will know what this is about. One to come in the 11th.
Yeah, it's awfully easy for the commentators just to sit back and...
We got the easiest job in the world,
Oh,
mate.
we do. We get to do all the talking and not actually do it ourselves. How good's that? It's not bad, but...
Sometimes some people are fairly critical of us being critical, but that's our job.
They are, but that's all right. We're very grateful for your company. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're watching on the socials, hit share, hit like, get the word out there. It'd be a travesty not to have the wonderful talents of these athletes not broadcast right around the world. This is the best competition there is in terms of club level. And you get quite an intimate little cozy feeling with the centre that you play for. You know, that's something a little bit different that you don't get at a national championships. Obviously, you've got your state, which is wonderful, but some of these players play for the same club. You know, some of the guys in the men's Strathpine Borough side have been playing there since I was 8 years old. So to be able to win now a national title for your club is something very special.
Final over the batting pair now. These two, well, look, they're still on track to get over 30, but the skin well and truly in play here. Helped by that leg side to move within 2 runs of the skin, and still 5 balls to come. So they can bank another point here. And maybe leave the last pair needing about 50 to win.
Yeah, you wouldn't want more than 50's hard.
Yeah, 50's hard. But doable.
Look, it is doable 42 we saw in the last batting partnership.
Can you imagine this? This pair get to, say, 77?
Yeah.
Right? The final pair come out and blast 50-something and make us look like complete idiots.
Mate, I'd love it.
Yeah. Well, me too.
I would love it. I hope that you and I have to go downstairs into the kitchen and crack a few eggs over each other's heads, mate, because they'll be brilliant. This could be close.
Oh, well. I cannot believe they're not going to take a wicket there.
Well,
the minute the umpire said no to that, the ball should have come back to the top.
Yeah.
The second that happened, instead they stood there arguing. And, well, watch this. You've got 2 batters at one end. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, better throw it up here. Oh, she's home. Got away with one there, and maybe that'll cost them the skin here. That's a point.
It could very well. There's 3 deliveries remaining, so there's plenty of opportunity to win the skin, plenty of opportunity to lose it by the same token. That could be called wide as well. We're on a really tight angle here. It's difficult to tell. Oh, and to rub salt into the proverbial wound as well. It's the 3rd ball. That's a bit of a kick in the pants when you think it's a wide, but it's been called good, and it gives you a 3rd ball. When you're equal on the skin 26 and you're chasing down 127 on 71. That's been
big moment.
Put through the grinder.
Beaten. Chance at the top, but it should be out, and it is. Well, they've stuck out at Springwood. We were just talking about maybe Hoppers Crossing were going to produce something special and make us look like clowns, but they've come good for us, the Scorpions, and barring a big back net shot here from Liz Pearce, Springwood should bank this point as well and leave the final pair needing 60-odd.
Yeah, and I like what Alexandra Weeks is doing here, pushing her tall timber back, because really a 7's the only thing that can win this skin. 5 doesn't help them because they got a jackpot into winning the 42 skin, which is extremely hard. So I don't think she's going to try and zack a 7, but we'll see. She does.
Does that hit the back net? We can't see from here. I think it might have.
One's been given.
Right. Well, that justifies the field placement, as you were saying. So another skin there to Springwood. And Polkinghorne and Rose have got, well, a couple of mountains to climb. Yeah, we'll just check in at the other game there. It's the women's game, the other women's game. Casey Stars up against the Mid-North Coast Mavericks, 109 in pursuit of 54. That is well and truly in the column of the Mid-North Coast Mavericks, who look to win that with all 4 of the skins as well. What a performance that is from them in response to the loss earlier today by a single run.
Yeah, and can I just say to Sportscast, how cool does that look on the screen? That's, I mean, I'm not really a technology guy, but I'm impressed. That's awesome stuff.
Pulling the feed from the internet.
They're doing good.
Putting it picture in picture. It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
on the fly, we like it. Sportscast Australia, folks, the official broadcast partner of the National Indoor Cricket League. 4 overs remain in this match, the top of the table clash. And, well, it's all Springwood, Lowy.
Yeah, I think that could be the game. And the best that they can really do here is try and pick up this skin, I think.
And look, that should be their mission. And the bottom line is that, okay, 60, 70 runs, that's unrealistic to win a game. And then they'll never be in a position where they'll need that and be able to get it. But they will be in a position where they might need 40-something to win a game or win a skin. And, well, another wicket will fall. This is an opportunity for them to test themselves and their ability to do that against a team the calibre of Springwood. But, well, with 2 wickets in 2 balls, 42's become 52.
Yeah.
How impressive is this from Springwood?
It's darn impressive, and it is sending a message out to the rest of this competition that they are the team to beat in a big way, in a very, very big way. I mean, we had the Hoppers side that got across the line with the Mavericks earlier on today, and the Mavericks have obviously put the Casey Stars to the sword. So that tells us that you'd expect Hoppers to be able to take care of Casey. I mean, yeah, I'm crystal balling a lot of stuff, but through deduction, that's kind of what you come up with. So that means realistically, I mean, it's only at the end of day 1. So I mean, let's not go too nuts. I might call the white men with the bloody butterfly net to come collect me because I think I'm going a bit bonkers. But you'd think that Springwood are looking awfully good to finish number 1. There could be a bit of a battle between the Mavericks and Hoppers, who finished within 1 run of each other in the first game.
For second.
For second and
a place in the final.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're assuming a lot from just a very few games, but at the moment where everything sits in the competition, that's where it's at. Because it is difficult to be able to put past performance of these teams into what's presently happening. You know, well, like Casey Stars, they're here because they won their championship. They won their division, and they've just been towed up by the Mavericks by some 70-odd runs. And that's a champion side, that Stars outfit. So,
the thing to take note of as well, Olivia Hoss going to be the bowler now, but Mavericks won 3 skins that earlier game. They just won all 4 of them in this second game. So they're on 10 points from 2 games. Hoppers Crossing, they would have only got 4 points out of that first game and probably only going to take 1 out of this. So after 2 games, 1 win each, 5 points the difference. So not only is this loss a big one for Hoppers Crossing, they're going to go into tomorrow 5 points out of second.
That is a damn good point you make.
We talk about how crucial skins are. We saw that that third one in particular lost in the last over.
Yeah,
that's a point. The first 2 wickets of this pair more or less has written off the chance of chasing down 42. If your soothsaying is on the money there, Lowy, and it does come down to the Mavericks and the Hurricanes for that second position after the round games and the second spot in the final, it will come down to skins.
And they'll be thanking their lucky Stars that they even got that first skin. 31 plays 30. They only just got across the line there. They could have been possibly 7-zip in this game. So even to come away with one's quite fortuitous to a certain degree. But
well, they'll finish 1-1 for today, having won 2 skins.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. Well wide, that delivery. So yeah, lots of cricket to come the next day and a bit. For the women, it's what's going to be interesting tomorrow. 3 rounds taking place tomorrow. The Hurricanes up against the Stars, the Scorpions against the Mavericks in the first game, and then it looks like we basically run through the same 3 games again, beginning at 2 p.m. So the Mavericks and the Hurricanes will have their rematch at 2 p.m. That will be the game to watch. That's assuming that the Hurricanes can get across the Stars. That'll be a big game. So stay tuned tomorrow from 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Time if you're here to check out the women's division. Some interesting cricket to unfold as they vie for a spot in the National Indoor Cricket League final for 2019 and a chance to win a share of $46,000. $10,000 for the winner. It's big dollars.
Yeah, it's big bickies, that's for sure.
As for tonight, Loey, why don't you tell our viewers what's coming up next after this delivery? No ball. +2 for 4.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the Strathpine Boroughs who'll be taking on the Morfett Vale Sharks here on the live stream. And
in the men's division?
In the men's division, yes, of course. And I've seen a lot of Strathpine supporters downstairs getting ready and coming on through. So that'll be a big game. On the other stream where there's no commentary, but certainly do feel free to join that broadcast. There's the Stars versus the Bombers. And then in the men's, in Pool A, the Mackay Magic taking on the Conquerors from the ACT, and the Victoria Point Vipers will be tackling the Northcote Knights, and that's going to be an interesting one. The Vipers went down just earlier on to the MacArthur Raptors. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts just at the end. It's day 1, and there's a lot to talk about here at Action Indoor Sports Toombul.
Yeah, all that from 8 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, one game getting the full coverage, the other with the camera being broadcast, and we'll keep you up to date with all of the results. We hope you can stick with us throughout the evening as Polkinghorne bangs a 7, the final ball of the penultimate over. Again, stay in touch at nicl.com.au and your social media of choice for Cricket Australia and Cricket Australia Indoor. As we continue to bring you the results from the National Indoor Cricket League Final Series. It's day 1. We've seen plenty of action, Loey. A couple of close results, a couple of surprise results.
Yeah, a couple of man-cat involved in all that too, with Miss Polkinghorne on strike at the moment.
Indeed. So, well, 1 over remains. Can they get, what do they need, 24 to win the skin? It's not outside the realm of possibility. A couple of 7s from Polkinghorne.
Yeah, they'd love a rebowl or 2, that's for sure.
Yeah, buckle up here. Might see some fireworks. Yeah, well,
the intent's there, isn't it?
It is. But the result, not so much. Through the gap there. Comfortable 2. Gee, the Hoppers Crossing haven't batted that well, and it's still on 90, you know. So, woe betide anyone who scores less than 100 against these guys. There's another 7 from Polkinghorne. The skin's in play, still 3 to come. They need 13 runs, so... Oh, is that only going for 4? Must have caught the side net first. Thought that was 7, excuse me.
From where we are, that looked like 7 for all money, but we just can't quite see the bottom here from up high in the mezzanine level.
And, well, that more or less puts the skin beyond doubt now. 2 balls remain. And, well, 2 minutes to get.
And that also includes a couple of overs where Springwood only had 7 out on court as well.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And how good a call was that from Springwood to wait and give themselves the opportunity to rule Alex Weeks in and out of the game. They rolled the dice, but it's come off.
And it showed very good understanding of the rules as well. Sometimes players have been playing for a very long time, don't have a deep understanding of exactly what's going on. And yeah, it was very well done from them. As it looks like we see a wicket, and that is over innings in game, Cameron Walter.
Yeah, wicket to finish, and that makes it all the more definitive for the Springwood Scorpions. Let's take a look here on the replay, thanks to playcricket.com.au. Straight into the hands of Shelley Savage, who made no mistake and finishes the job for the Scorpions. Running out victors 127 to 90 runs. How do you see it, Gary Lowe?
Mate, quite simply, it was the batting performance at the start there by the Springwood Scorpions. Mentioned it a few times during the broadcast as well. Very disciplined, very structured. All the shots that they were playing, were shots with minimal risk. The old indoor cricketers would just be loving it, sitting at home with the popcorn, enjoying the show, because it was a wonderful display of batting. And it was just as simple and as incontestable as that. That's where it was won and lost. And in the field, they took their chances as it came. So well done to Springwood. And you'd have to say that they'd have to be red-hot favourites at this stage.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. As we mentioned earlier, folks, another game coming up next, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's the Boroughs and the Sharks in men's Pool B here at the National Indoor Cricket League Final Series. Until then, though, Gary Lowe, thanks for your company.
Yes, thank you very much, Cameron, and thank you to all at home and wherever you might be watching the broadcast.
And until next time, I'm Cameron Walter. Thanks so much for watching.